It's one of the fastest growing economic areas in the world, but for many people, Latin America remains something of a mystery. One of the reasons why the University of Edinburgh's Latin American Society decided to organise the first ever Latin American Forum. It brought together an impressive array of business leaders, economists, government representatives and students, with the opening remarks delivered by the university principal, Professor Sir Timothy O'Shea, who sees Latin America as an increasingly important region for Edinburgh.
It's becoming economically important at a great rate of knots. A lot of the economic development is in areas like energy and health, which are very important for the university. And really there are a number of elements to this. One is bringing the highest quality Latin American students to the university. Another is having partnerships with the highest quality Latin American researchers, mostly in the universities, but also in the big industry where there's high quality corporate research. Another part of it is building up our capability in the university itself in terms of making it easy for students to learn Spanish and Portuguese, making it easy for them to understand about Iberian and Latin America history, film, culture. So it's a tremendous number of opportunities for us. And I see building up our capability for understanding Latin America as part and parcel of developing our strategic research and student links with Latin America.
Those links are being strengthened not only by the university and its staff, but by students themselves. Diego Centurion and Juan Pablo Prea have been the main drivers in organising the forum. For them, the need to educate people and dispel outdated myths surrounding Latin America are key priorities.
There's been a huge ignorance with regard to what can be done in the region. So what we're trying to portray here, the message we're trying to convey is it's no longer the region of the future. It's the region of right here, right now. So I think that's been underpinned largely by our speakers today. And there's a wealth of opportunities, and I think that as a business school, and of course Edinburgh as a leading institution, people here will be interested and will be receptive towards those ideas and initiatives.
That's a view shared by those who already do business in the area and who emphasise the need to become familiar with Latin America's huge diversity.
From an investment point of view, when you go into any country, you've got to understand the context of that country, and I think it's important not to generalise in Latin America because it is a collection of extremely different countries, albeit many of them share a common language. But that said, I think that if you go into the region with an understanding of those challenges and with a business model that actually helps and is designed to help try to address some of those challenges, then you're setting up for success, and you can manage those sorts of risks and those sorts of difficulties in a very positive way.
The university's links with Latin America are extensive, and the demand for higher education partnerships with internationally recognised institutions like Edinburgh is rising. It's one of the reasons why the university is investing in the region, with the creation of its new Office of the Americas, which will open in Sao Paulo in Brazil in the autumn of 2012.
The University of Edinburgh is really ahead of the game in opening up its office in Sao Paulo. So big opportunities in Brazil, but big opportunities across the region. And that's first of all in terms of education at all levels, primary, secondary, tertiary, and also vocational training. It's both about provision of direct courses and training for students. It's also about encouraging students to come to the UK. So for example, I think there's about 5,500 students studying higher education from Latin America here in the UK at the moment. But for example, there's a big initiative with Brazil called Science Without Borders that will see 10,000 students come in the next 4 years. And we'd like to see that growth from other countries.
One of the countries making efforts to improve its higher education provision is Colombia, whose government recently sent a high-level delegation to establish links with UK industry and education providers. This included the signing of a partnership agreement between Edinburgh and Colsensius, the Colombian government's Science and Technology Research Department, which holds a £500 million annual budget.
We are trying to establish some cooperation agreements and activities in order to send more Colombians here to train in PhD programs and also to learn from the system of innovation you have.
How important is improving higher education to Colombia?
It is very important because we are a very rich country, but we need to improve our human capacities in order to get advantage of that richness in a sustainable way.
Sustainable development is something Edinburgh academics are already helping bring about in Latin America, such as making the extraction of oil in Brazil more efficient and working to address the deforestation of areas of the Andes and Amazon basin. For US businessman Trevor Kennedy, the basics of human existence are his main focus.
The big opportunities in Latin America for us are around clean air, clean water, and clean energy. So and those are all intertwined. So we're very focused on bringing clean drinking water, better standards around the hydrogen loading of traditional hydrocarbons to make them cleaner, as well as bringing lower cost, safer ways to power both electrical and other types of applications using hydrogen energy.
But with opportunity comes risk, and whether it's government instability, criminal activity such as illegal narcotics, or ensuring the environment is protected, doing business in Latin America requires careful preparation. In some countries, bribery remains a problem, as outlined by one of the forum's keynote speakers.
There is emerging awareness of corruption as a problem that needs to be dealt with. In terms of popular perceptions, voters and electorates are becoming increasingly intolerant of corrupt practices, and you've seen, especially in Brazil and Colombia over the last year or two, new governments come in who have sought to really take firm action against political elites and actors and ministries and institutions who have previously been engaged in corruption. There's been a steady stream of scandals and the uncovering of things. You've seen new laws brought in, as I mentioned before, which are attempting to achieve parity with international standards. But there are still very substantial risks, not least because of the wide breach between law and practice.
This production is brought to you by the University of Edinburgh.